Okay, finally got around to purchasing the navigation unit here for my Alpine, and I want to start off by saying a couple things that I absolutely do not like about Alpine, just to get them out of the way. You probably heard me talk about them in other videos. One is the fact that every little accessory you buy has to have its own power source, so you've got to constantly cut into your wiring harness to get them all in there. And that's a bit of a pain in the ass. The next thing is, and I just don't buy that they couldn't have the power through the AI net thing that they have in there, because this unit in particular can have an amplifier plugged onto the back of it. So if they've got power for an amplifier, then they can certainly have power for the Bluetooth, the Sirius, and this navigation unit, which are drawing very little. That being said, I just got done installing it. I'm not going to go into too much detail in the installation. Also, I'll give you my frame of reference as having spent 2 years with Pioneer D3 and F700s. As you just saw, my first and foremost thing I like better about the Alpine compared to those two is the instant startup. I would still be waiting for the damn thing to boot on the F700 right now, and I wouldn't even be able to adjust the volume. So, but actually, if you go slow and methodically, the installation is straightforward. They do make a big issue about placing the module. Has to be facing forward and level. It can't be tilted more than a certain number of degrees. I found a nice space down in my center console down there in the footwell to put it, and my Bluetooth is down there behind this panel with about 8 feet of wire, because I didn't cut any wire to length, because you never know, I may change cars. I want to move this stuff around, so I kept all the original wiring and just wrapped it and tied it, and hopefully I won't have vibration problems. Since my last video, I have added a false floor here in the console, hiding my iPod below that, because I did have a bit of a break-in a while back. They didn't get much. They didn't get my iPod, as a matter of fact, but they got a couple other small items, you know, not much value, less than $50, but still, I want to keep that iPod hidden because they don't make that model anymore. So, I've already got this thing set up to go to the post office. I'll just try and give a quick tour of it. It's customizable. You can choose just general colors, or you can have it just match whatever the head unit has, which is kind of nice. It's got a neat little dashboard feature, so if you want to check out your speedometer and see if it's accurate or not, you can just put it on there and it'll measure against that. The back button on here, there's a back button here on the screen and one here. They do not do the same thing. This gets you completely out of navigation, whereas the one on screen actually backs you through the menus and everything. Another screen shows you the GPS. Oh, it's going up. I had only 7 a few minutes ago. Now I've got 10, so that's going to give me an accurate reading. It's got time and date in there as well. I think it grabs that off the satellite. Tells you everything about the GPS there. System. That's just basic data. Nice. Okay, so we go back here to route. You can set up how you want it to route. There's the cancel route button. Yeah, I couldn't find that a few minutes ago. I couldn't figure out how to shut voice. Updates with this thing. Brings me to a second thing about Alpine that I don't like. I went on their website. You know, they've been making the Blackbird 1, which is a portable unit that you can also dock. They've been probably making that for 4 or 5 years. And then the Blackbird 2, I know for a fact they've been making it for 2 years, maybe a little bit more, because I had it when it first came out and I returned it after 1 week. I can't find on their website anything. The Blackbird 1 has an update, but nothing else has ever had a software update for the maps, which kind of scares me, because the GPS, you know, if you use them a lot, you probably want to update them once a year. Definitely once every 2 years. So they stay current. I don't see that they ever update any of their stuff, you know, unless it's hidden in some other website. The Blackbird 1 has an update from a year ago on there that I guess you can pay $70 for and download. That I don't like compared to the Pioneer. The Pioneers came out about every year, maybe a little bit longer. So you did have map updates available. My main problems with the Pioneer was that they just did not function well. They were Windows based, and as this is, it says Windows C on the back, but they seem to have simplified it so much that it works. I saw another review by that Sven on Tech where he was having problems pushing the buttons. He had a different head unit, so maybe my touchscreen is better. I don't know. I haven't encountered that so far. That's a view showing you just the turns, no map. Then you toggle back there. You can change this guy to just general, like little cars, white car, blue car, red car, whatever. You can change the color of the maps as well as the color of the menus. The maps have about 6 or 7 different preset colors. Nothing's customizable. The menus, again, it's pretty much matches the head unit. There's like 4 or 5 different colors you can use. So it's nice because it all looks integrated. It all looks like it was made by the same person. So it works pretty good so far. About to test it out for the first time. I'm also testing out my iPod video Nano thing here. So hopefully the video quality will be better than some of my previous ones. I know you want to see it in action. This is the first time I'm using it, so I'm gonna drive a little bit with it first and then come back and maybe take some video of it actually in action. Music for a second and then cutting back in. Oh, look at that. Big fat guy on a move. The thing about Alpine I kind of didn't like compared to the Pioneer. I'd never go back to Pioneer, but just for comparison's sake, avic411.com is a treasure trove if you own one of those Pioneer units. You can find out an answer on pretty much anything, and those units are extremely hackable. You can burn DVDs and change things around. There's people running all kinds of different maps on them. The newer ones have the SD card, makes it a lot easier to hack. And that was the attraction. You can change the background, you can customize it. I mean, it's amazing what you can do with those things. But it's not worth it in everyday use, for me anyway. It was just too much of a pain in the ass waiting for the thing. It would get hung up. It was like having a Windows PC in my dashboard is what it was. That booted slow. An underperforming Windows PC. So that's what I liked about the Alpine, is it just works. But when you go online looking for stuff, you can't find hardly any info. I mean, you'd think there'd be like an Alpine enthusiast website out there somewhere. I haven't found it. Even on the car stereo forums, they don't really talk that much about Alpine, except for the 9887 model, which apparently has the best sound out there. But they don't generally talk too much about the individual units, and you don't have this enthusiast community. I don't know, maybe people just get them installed and use them and don't have any problems and don't talk about them. But it's been really tough, and I kind of confirmed it when I put up the first video showing a review of this thing. And I've gotten so many emails from people, and I tried to help everybody I could, but I've gotten essentially tech support emails. Is it possible to update the firmware? How do you do this? I don't have sound. Why doesn't it work? And if I have the answer, I'm more than happy to give it to them. The owner's manual it's decent, but it doesn't go that technical.
Destination ahead on the left.
Okay, it got me here anyway.
Destination on the left.
Okay, now it's nagging me. I want it to shut off when I've arrived at my destination. Anyhow, that's my first trip with this thing. It works. I think I'll play around with some settings and see if I can make some improvements on it.